Today I'm going to be talking about my working holiday visa, which I have now got. This is an important step, I guess, in my journey to Japan. Well, basically, if I want to go to Japan and stay there for a year, I have to have a visa of some sort. So this is just going to be a little video about what I did to get that, what a working holiday visa actually is, and what I guess you would do if you wanted also to get a working holiday visa. This is going to be very brief though, because it's hard to get in the right level of detail. So I do have a blog post that I've written that has a lot more information and some useful links to other websites. If you want to read that, I will leave a link in the description below. So what is a working holiday visa? A working holiday visa is a visa for 18 to 30-year-olds, and it allows you to stay in Japan for up to a year. It's for someone who intends to be primarily holidaying, but you are allowed to work for a certain amount of hours a week. There are several requirements. Obviously you have to be between 18 and 30 years old. You have to be a British citizen or hold a British passport. I think if you're watching this from another country, there are similar working holiday visas available, so you'll have to check that out. You have to be able to prove that you have a certain amount of money. You can't have more than one working holiday visa in your lifetime. So if you want to apply for a working holiday visa, you need 7 documents. The first one is a valid UK passport. This is pretty self-explanatory, but you do need to make sure that your passport will not expire before you leave Japan. Then you need to complete an application form. This is pretty simple. Again, that is a form on the Japanese embassy website. Just print that off and fill it in. There were a few sections that weren't relevant to me, so I left them blank, but I would recommend filling it out to the best of your ability. You also need a passport photo from the last 6 months. Then you have to have your CV. You probably have a CV kicking about from applying to jobs and stuff, so just use that. Some people have recommended shortening it. I didn't, so next is an outline of intended activities. So this is like just a list of things that you're going to plan on doing. There is a template online that you can use. However, this didn't really give me enough space to go into the required amount of detail. However, everyone at the embassy is well aware that you probably won't be sticking to this. If you're going somewhere for a year, you probably don't know exactly what you're going to be doing. While detail, I guess, is necessary, honesty probably is not, and if you don't stick to your itinerary exactly, then no one's gonna come and get you and deport you. After that, you need a written reason for applying. I didn't really understand it, so I looked at some examples of people's online, and they basically, to me, read a little bit like a personal statement that you'd send to like a university or something. So if you're feeling a bit stuck with that, I will read out the intro of mine. It's a massive cringe fest, but this channel couldn't get really any cringier, so why not? Being called Japanese, I have always considered Japanese culture as part of my heritage. Whether it was visiting my Japanese grandma and revelling in her delicious home-cooked Japanese meals, from tonkatsu to sukiyaki, or visiting the country itself and creating some of my fondest memories, Japan has always been at the heart of my upbringing. And it goes on pretty much like that. It's gross, but it was necessary. And the final thing you will need is either £2,500 or £1,500 and a plane ticket, like a return ticket or a onwards journey ticket. So that's everything you need. Once you've got all of this, you need to head over to the Japanese embassy. There's one of these in London, and I believe there's also one somewhere in Scotland, but I'm not certain about that. Once you get there, you just go on inside, and then you go up to someone in like a little booth, and you just say what you're going there for. The guy seemed to be like half asleep, and he was just like waved us through, and then you take a ticket from the machine, and this is like your number, and you just wait for your number to come up on the screen. When they called my number, I went up and the lady at the desk flicked through all my documents. She noticed that my outline of intended activities was lacking a bit, so I got asked to redo that. Did that, took another ticket, the guy checked it all through again, and then they handed me a sort of receipt piece of paper thing that told me to come back in a week's time and pick up my passport. I actually had exams on that day, so I couldn't go back myself, but my aunt went for me and I wrote her a little letter that said I give her my permission to take the visa. Then she went up and she came back with my passport, and inside my passport there was the visa. So that is pretty much everything. Like I said, this was a very brief run through. If you want more information, I will be leaving a link to my blog down in the description, and on my blog I have a post detailing exactly how I went about getting my visa in like loads more detail. I hope you found that interesting. Maybe it was quite niche, quite dry content, but it's an important step in how I'm getting to Japan. So if you liked it, then give it a thumbs up, or if you want to find out more about what my life in Japan is going to be like, then I suggest that you subscribe.